Austin Powers, International Man of Mystery, is directed by Jay Roach, and it stars Mike Myers in a dual role. Also stars Elizabeth Hurley, Michael York, and Robert Wagner and Seth Green. Now, this right here is it's honestly my favorite spoof film, my favorite parody. I know that usually when people think of parodies, they usually think of Mel Brooks and Keenan Ivory Wayans and an airplane, but I don't know what it is. I just always found Austin Powers one to be the most appealing out of all of them, with Young Frankenstein being a close second. Yeah, this one right here, it's just so warm and fuzzy and just so lovable. So much stuff that doesn't ever go wrong. Everything in this film is so strong and just enjoyable. This is it's a spoof of James Bond, and yeah, the way that they make fun of all of James Bond's like especially it's mostly about them making fun of the villain stuff and exposing the follies of the villains while also augmenting Bond's um, own comedic things. And yeah, I've always loved that about this. So yeah, the movie's about Austin Powers and Doctor Evil, who are both played by Mike Myers. They're both nemesis of each other in the 1960s, and Doctor Evil decides to cryogenically freeze himself and reawaken 30 years later when the world is more corrupt itself. So Austin does the same thing in case Doctor Evil ever decides to return. When Austin wakes up, he's paired up with his former partner's daughter, who's played by Elizabeth Hurley. And yeah, the when Austin and Doctor Evil decide to adjust, well, I mean, when they do end up adjusting to 1997, it's a really funny. Austin is he's a swinger from the 1960s, and in the late 90s, things are just so much different for them, and it's just hilarious the way that everything comes about. And Doctor Evil turns out to have had a son. He was cryogenically made in a lab, and his offspring is played by Seth Green, who actually is just a normal young man and hates his father. Yeah, the it's just really funny the way that everything happens, and it's genius also. If you've seen a bunch of James Bond films, you'd be able to see where a whole bunch of them are incorporated into this. Like Thunderball is one of the more prominent Bond things that are incorporated in this. And yeah, Austin's a hairy body. That's also something that's augmented in this. I mean, like they got that from James Bond himself. So yeah, the way that they're able to combine so many different um, James Bond things into this, it's quite awesome. And it isn't like a epic movie or Meet the Spartans where they use like 100 different things like just almost all at random. And this one, everything is placed in a specific purpose and actually means a whole bunch of things. It was cleverly done, and I really like that about this. Now, in this review, like I haven't really gotten into what makes this film so perfect and so good. It's just one of those films that it's just magic to me. So I'm going to give Austin Powers 1 4 stars.